After about a year and a half at sea, the Amistad concluded its freedom tour by docking at Baltimore's Fells Point. The tour commemorated the 200th anniversary of the treaty that banned the slave trade. The crew traveled both sides of the Atlantic, logged 14,000 miles, and docked everywhere from Barbados to Sierra Leone. Deckhand Haley Cox said the trip was a life-changing experience, especially the stop in Sierra Leone, one of the world's poorest nations.
So it was fairly interesting to go bring this big fancy boat over there to where they have like dugout canoes and just totally different ship scene and lifestyle scene, and that just changed my whole view on everything.
The Amistad is a historical replica of its namesake, an 1830s boat made famous by a slave mutiny that led to the United States' first civil rights case. The original ship was hired in 1839 by two planters to carry 59 illegally purchased slaves from one end of Cuba to another.
After 4 days of sailing with the Africans on board, whereupon the Africans, while it was being exercised on deck, had hand gestures made to them by the cook, indicating that the cook intended that the crew was going to kill them, cook them in a pot, and eat them. The Africans, led by a gentleman by the name of Singday Pei, managed to free himself, discovered that another part of the cargo that was on board was a load of machetes and cane knives for cutting sugar cane. They armed themselves, freed everyone else, and they came up and took over the ship. They immediately killed the cook.
After wresting control of the ship, the slaves demanded to return to Africa. The two planters agreed, but each night they turned back towards the United States, hoping to be rescued by another boat.
This went on for 62 days.
The slaves were arrested, charged, tried, and convicted of murder and mutiny in New Haven, Connecticut. They appealed their case.
And when they appealed, they were able to enlist the aid of John Quincy Adams, who at that point was a retired U.S. president, to come back into public service and serve as their defense.
Adams' argument rested on an 1808 treaty that banned the international slave trade. By citing the treaty signed by 27 nations, including the United States and England, he won the case. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled to acquit the slaves, declaring that they had always been free men.
Our mission today is still very much trying to keep the history alive, that we believe that there are still civil rights issues that need to be addressed in the world, and that by continuing to recall our history, perhaps we can avoid repeating it, perhaps we can use this as a forum for discussing more current events relative to civil rights.